Good evening. The news summary for this Thursday, 3rd June. Crafts and food vendors may now apply to have a location to spot at the Beauvalon Beach in the area best known for Bazalabrine and Regatta to sell their products. The Principal Secretary for Entrepreneurship, Angelique Onta, made the announcement yesterday during a press conference. The main points addressed were the terms and conditions under which the vendors are to operate, which also include health guidelines. The CEO of ESSA, Angelique Abou, stated that there are limited spaces available for allocation and that hopeful applicants should contact ESSA as early as possible.
We are calling on all craft vendors and food vendors to come and register so that they can start operating at Beauvalon on the site where we used to call it Bazalabrine. So we are trying to phase out the name Bazalabrine so that we can come up with a new name to start a new event, a new activity to allow businesses to operate at Beauvalon. The application will be on a first-come, first-served basis because we have only 26 places for craft vendors. So we do advise them to come early and register, and we will be giving priority to the vendors who were selling in the Bazalabrine previously. The agreement that we are giving is for a period of 6 months only for now, and it may be renewed depending on the development project that is to come on the site.
It's been confirmed that the Agency for Social Protection is now managing 16 cemeteries on Maille and Pralin. Speaking in the National Assembly, the Minister for Social Affairs, Patricia Francourt, said the government has retaken the responsibility for these cemeteries after uncovering irregularities during the 5-year period they've been managed by a private company. The Auditor General has been asked to carry out an audit in the manner which the services were outsourced in 2015. Minister Franco said that even though the cemetery services were outsourced, the government through the Agency for Social Protection had been paying a substantial amount of money from its budget to the private company. People who owe government huge amounts of taxes can now benefit from two new tax initiatives that the Cabinet recently approved. There is a tax amnesty program which is due to start this July until December, and the other is the write-off of tax debt based on very specific criteria. The Minister for Finance Nadi Hassan says that both initiatives will involve a revision in the Revenue Administration Act, which will need to be submitted to the National Assembly.
The tax amnesty program is a common method, especially in times of crisis, whereby to encourage taxpayers that is in default of the tax liabilities to come forward and pay their primary tax liabilities, but at the same time they can benefit from a reduction in penalty or interest that is due on the tax debt. The second initiative is an amendment to the Revenue Administration Act to provide for write-off of debt. So here we're talking about very exceptional circumstances that will be clearly laid out in the law under which circumstances can debt be written off. It also puts in place the procedural manner in terms of how this will be administered. And here the focus is ensuring that it's not one person that takes a decision, it's a collective decision, and that has also to be in line with what the law allows. It will also focus very much on transparency because this decision will be published by notice, and there is a provision in there in the law that will also allow for reversal of decision in case that there's an objection that is laid out.
The Cabinet of Ministers has approved a number of legal and policy memoranda at its regular meeting this week. They include, amongst many others, the introduction of financial education in all schools in the country. The Cabinet says the aim is to provide students with the competencies in entrepreneurship and finance. Another decision by the Cabinet of Ministers amendments to the law on social protection. This will give flexibility in the nomination of board members to allow for suitable candidates to be nominated to the board. Another decision is the dissolution of the Tertiary Education Commission. Its duties will now be discharged by the Seychelles Qualification Authority and the Ministry of Education. The Seychellois Club of Western Australia has donated 156,000 rupees to the COVID-19 fund. To raise those funds, the club organized a social gathering and people also donated online. The president of the club, Jimmy Niken, says that they wanted to show their solidarity and support efforts to combat the COVID-19 pandemic in the country. That's the end of this news summary. Join me at 8 for the news bulletin in Creole. Until then, have a pleasant evening.